Hello, and welcome to Live in a Sin. Today, we will be going over and answering one of the most asked questions. Can bankruptcy stop foreclosure? Let's begin. If you have been facing foreclosure and decided to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, a lot can happen in a short amount of time. As soon as your pension to file for bankruptcy is processed, an automatic stay will be placed on your account. This means that your creditors are ordered to stop pursuing you for the debt that you owe. This would immediately stop any foreclosure proceedings. However, the process is much more complicated than that, and there are many pitfalls you have to watch out for when filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Keep watching to the very end of this video to learn more about stopping foreclosure and your bankruptcy options. Let's continue. If you are at a point where you can no longer afford your mortgage payments along with your other living expenses, you may be considering filing for bankruptcy to help stop a pending foreclosure. The question is, can filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy really stop a foreclosure? And if so, for how long? I will help you take a look at what Chapter 7 bankruptcy can do for you in this situation, and if it's really the best option for you. What is Chapter 7 bankruptcy? Before we get started looking at how filing for bankruptcy might help you, let's define what Chapter 7 bankruptcy really is. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is often called liquidation bankruptcy. That is because once you file for Chapter 7, a bank trustee typically begins liquidating your assets to help pay off your debt. This means that any secured debt that is backed by collateral you have is in danger of being sold off to repay the creditor. This includes your car, your home, and other valuable items. At the end of Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the court would discharge the majority of your debt. So now that we understand the basics of Chapter 7 bankruptcy, let's cover how it can keep your home from being foreclosed. Does filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy stop foreclosure? The initial answer is yes. As soon as you file for bankruptcy, all debt collection and foreclosure proceedings must immediately stop. Unfortunately, this does not mean that your house will no longer be foreclosed on. It really just means that, for the time being, the bank has to wait to continue with their foreclosing proceedings. There are two main ways that the bank can continue to foreclose on your house, even after you file bankruptcy. First, at the end of your bankruptcy hearing, if you still haven't caught up on missed payments or you are still missing new payments, the bank can continue pursuing you for payment. Once your case has ran its full course, the automatic stay, which keeps lenders from collecting, is lifted. This removes your protection from foreclosure. However, if the bank does not want to wait for the few months that it takes for your hearing to come to an end, they can file a motion or a request to the court to lift the protection so that the foreclosure can proceed. If the bank does this, there are only a few reasons why the court would deny motion. The foreclosure is not legal. The property has substantial equity that is not exempt. More on this in a second. The lender did not comply with procedural requirements. The lender cannot produce significant evidence to show that it has the authority to seek foreclosure. If the court decides to lift the automatic stay, you are once again going to be in danger of foreclosure proceedings. Something else to consider. The thing is, filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy to stop foreclosure may not be the best idea to begin with. Though it does have the possibility of buying you a couple of months, the bank can still foreclose on your house after the proceedings. However, there is something else that puts your house at risk when filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Your bankruptcy attorney has the right to sell your home to pay off your debt if the house has more equity than is protected by an exemption. If this is true for your house, your bankruptcy trustee will end up selling your house anyways. What is a homestead exemption? Each state creates its own set of exemption residents can use to protect property from creditors, and the homestead exemption varies widely amongst the states. Some allow you to protect a little as a few $1,000s in equity. In another, you can exempt up to $500,000. By contrast, Chapter 13 filers must pay creditors some or all of what they owe using a 3 to 5 year repayment plan. But the payment plan allows Chapter 13 to offer benefits not available in Chapter 7. For instance, not only do you keep all of your property, but you can save your home from foreclosure or your car from repossession. I'll let that sink in for a moment. Let's continue. If you need time to repay a debt that you cannot discharge in bankruptcy, you can use this chapter to force a creditor into a payment plan. The biggest downside to this chapter, it can be expensive. Many people cannot afford the monthly payments that is presented. Once again, You can keep your home in Chapter 7 bankruptcy if you don't have any home equity, or you're able to protect your equity using a homestead exemption. The bankruptcy trustee appointed to administer your matter won't sell it, because without available equity, there wouldn't be any money to distribute to your unsecured creditors. This gives you time to bring your outstanding payments current. Make sure to consider these things before filing bankruptcy. Don't forget to watch my other videos that goes into details about the foreclosure process. I hope this helped. Take care.